All right, here it is. Update 30 is live. So this will be the start of our series here on State of Decay 2, Beginner's Guide / New Player's Guide. So I hope I do a good job and everything, but we'll see how it goes. If there's any questions you have, don't be afraid to ask them down in the comments. Things like that. There are various we're going to be over in various videos. So, let me see something real quick. I forgot to. Do a quick check with this. All right. So, sorry. I thought I had everything, but there was one thing I didn't have. All right, so let's just go over like State of Decay 2. State of Decay 2 is a zombie survival series. Unlike others, you are managing multiple peoples. You're managing a whole community. You don't just manage yourself. You also have to worry about other people. It is multiplayer. I've never played the multiplayer personally, but there is multiplayer in the game if you wish to play with other people. There are, as you can see, 3 various things you can do. There is the campaign. This is just your standard mode. We'll be going and talking about all about this. Heartland is basically just a story, extra story about the world of State of Decay in the Trumbull Valley map. It's basically just a extra story that you can play. And Daybreak is Horde mode, where you are a Red Talon agent, and we'll talk about Red Talon later. And you are holding off a very endless waves of enemy zombies and everything from getting into and breaking or killing something. And basically that's it. And you go through here and you do so many of them. You unlock things and everything. Heartland, I'm still unsure if Heartland does give us. There's various survivors. I don't think normal campaign. I'm not sure, but there's nothing listed like item unlocks or anything. It's just basically a big old story. There we go. So that's what Heartland. Let's talk about update 30. So the reason why I've completely and totally waited until this update to do this is because of how big this update is. This is the Forever Communities. Now, there are legacy characters where you can finish a community. You can put them into a legacy pool with all their items that you want them to have, and then recruit them into a new community. You could only recruit them when you started the community, and that's it. You can only get 3 of them at most, and you could only have those 3 through your whole playthrough. And then you just, once you did a legacy again, you can put them back into the pool and choose them again in the new save. Or you could just choose other characters. You could have up to, I think it was 50. Yeah, you can have 50 legacy characters at most. Now, the way the Forever Communities updates is now you can continue playing with the community after completing a legacy. If you completed a legacy before, that was it. Game was over. Put people in the pool, start all over again. Characters in your legacy pool can now be recruited to active communities. Community members can now be sent to the legacy pool mid-game. So you can put people into the pool, you can take people out of the pool and recruit them to your community while you're playing. This is a huge thing. We've added the ability to choose your new base when moving maps. So if you choose to go to a different map, if you have the amount of influence, which is the currency of the game, to go to when you choose a new map, you can choose any base as long as you have the number of people required and the influence cost. And the supply locker, which is your stash, allows you to salvage almost everything into parts. And we now have 5 save slots instead of 3. So forever communities, you can either disband your community or continue after completing a legacy. Before continuing on with your community, you can still choose to send individual characters to the legacy pool. Those survivors will remain in the pool and will not be included in your continued community unless you keep your supply locker contents when continuing a community. So you keep all of the stuff in your stash when you continue on. Your legacy pool is now more accessible than ever. Legacy recruitment is here. Survivors from your legacy pool into current communities. There is a radio menu. We'll be going over the radio menu later. Survivors can now be sent to the legacy pool at any time. Mark them from the community screen. We'll talk about everything. Then talk to the marked survivor to send them on their way. Survivors sent to the legacy pool take their current inventory with them. This is a big thing because there are very big items that you would like to get and continue on with in your new communities when you do them. They redesigned the legacy pool menu for easier navigation, so you can mark your favorite survivors to find them. Include filter, you can filter them, and inventories are now visible. You couldn't tell what you had on characters before. You had to keep a spreadsheet of what you put on certain characters if you wanted to know where they were, what they had. And then they improved to the stash, so you can sort it various ways now. Stack size has increased to 99 for close combat weapons and facility mods, and 20 for ranged weapon mods. Salvage almost everything can be salvaged now. Moving maps and starting communities. Accidentally skipped the perfect survivor when making a new community? Not anymore. We now remember the 2 previously rolled characters in the character selection screen. So before, if you missed somebody, you had to keep on rolling. You now have the option to move directly into the base of your choice and moving an existing community to a new map for a price. And that price is the influence cost of the base. And you have to have the number of required people. We'll all going all over that later. And the ability to reset your map without changing your difficulty. Now, this is another huge thing. You love a map so much, you do not want to move, but you've looted everything. You've been playing the game in-game days is in 365 day year counts and things. You've looted everything. Well, instead of having to go to a new map, you could just reset your map and everything changes without having to change your difficulty. When you had to change your difficulty before, it disabled certain achievements where you couldn't get them anymore. So now you don't have to worry about that. And that is the update 30, and that is why I waited so long for various things. I have these as my favorite. I have 18, but these are my favorite. These are the ones I've kind of maxed out and have things I want to keep for sure. Like here's my doctor. He's my doctor. He's pathology. He's got various facility mods on him, like a white noise machine. We'll be going over all this stuff later. Various presses to make ammo, plate cures, red talon prefabs to make red talon equipment. So he is a very important person in my community. Same with this one here. This is my two-handed weapon person. If I need to use two-handed weapons, he's got road flares, gas for the car, repair kit, power launchers, a sleep psychology book to learn the skill for somebody, bloater cloud, glass grenades. We'll talk about all of this later. We'll go over all the skills, the various traits and things you can get. this is my stealth character. This is close combat stealth, which means even though she has a weapon, she's just taking it with her so I can put it in the new community. But she only uses a close combat weapon at all. She can't. Using a weapon on her is bad. You don't want to use big weapons once you have close combat. We'll just, like I said, we'll go over all of this later. She has a game console. She has my network signal booster, very important item. Advanced biochem station, another very important item. Like I said, we'll go over everything. She's got some plague samples in case we need them. She has the best bow in the game. Like I said, we're going to go over everything once we get into here and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the legacy. So that's that. So let's start it up. And then we'll go over various things because there's going to be so many things to do. We're going to be now when you start your new community, you're not going to be presented with that choice of replay tutorial or skip it. You have to play the tutorial to play the game, to get the game. As soon as you move, you don't have to worry about this though. You could just play the tutorial, choose any that you have a choice of survivors to play as. Choose any of them that you want to play as. Doesn't matter. Once you've gone through the tutorial and you've in one of the regular maps to play with, like Provenance Ridge, Mega Valley, any of the regular maps, once you move to that map and you have the first base built and everything, you just have it, you go to it, you claim it and everything, you can just leave and then come back to this and you'll get this screen if you want to have your own survivors instead of using the pre-made ones. So once you do that, you come back to the screen, just click skip tutorial and you'll be brought to the difficulty selection. Now there are regular difficulties here and then you can do custom settings if you wish to. Note, if you use custom settings, certain achievements will not work. So say if I choose the map difficulty up to lethal and leave these at standard, this does not count for certain achievements doing this. You have to just use the basic settings to do it. We have the green zone, which is the most easiest one. We have standard zone, which is a little bit more hard, but it's not that bad. Red zone, now this is where you get into a little bit more of a threat, but it's not a big thing. You really don't have to worry about much. Nightmares, where you have to start changing how you play difficulty, and we'll go over various things to do that once we get in. And then lethal is a grind. I'm telling you right now, if you wish to play lethal, then don't ask me because I don't like it. I think it's too much of a grind. It's basically a second job if you go with this. I'm telling you right now, you are so put to the bottom of the totem pole on this difficulty. It's a job basically at this point. If you wish to watch somebody on YouTube have do difficulty things and even more difficult things, because there are mods to make the game more difficult, go and watch Brian Menard. It's BrianMenard on YouTube, and he does all things Lethal Decay, State of Decay 2, lethal difficulty, and everything like that. He's also got some guides if you wish to watch his guides instead. Another player that has various guides but doesn't really just play the game is RVIDD's State of Decay channel. State of Decay Science is the name of the channel. That's RVIDD''S, and they have various guides up about things of various things you do on about the game, not just lethal, but it does they do it through all standards. They test various things like how quickly do you plague heart with certain weapons and things like that. So let's talk about difficulty stuff. So this is where you can see what the difficulties do in more detail. So if we go all the way down to green. Green, combat is dangerous but much less deadly than in standard. Zombies are easier to kill and deal less damage. Zombies are less plentiful and less aggressive. Nearby zombies appear on the minimap. And zombie sieges at your base pose only a limited threat. Freaks and Blood Plague. Freaks are very rare. These are the super zombies, basically. Plague hearts require less effort to destroy, so they have less health. Or they have the same amount of health, they just take more damage. It's basically, they have the same amount of health across all difficulties, the plague hearts. But what they do is they change the amount of damage that they take, not how much health they have. Blood Plague kills survivors very slowly, so if you contract the Blood Plague, you have a limited time to go and get a cure and use it on yourself. Otherwise, once it goes all the way through, that timer expires, your character dies. Combat costs less stamina and fatigue occurs slowly. Combat noises is less likely to draw zombies. Hostile humans are less deadly in combat. Vehicles are more durable. Injuries or trauma are uncommon and less severe. That is basically green difficulty there. It's not very hard at all. I would actually recommend, and what we're going to play on is standard difficulty. So they have normal toughness and deal normal damage, normal behavior, somewhat plentiful, appear on the mini map, steal, Peach's occasional threat. Most freaks appear as solitary threats. Plague hearts pose a reasonable challenge to destroy. Blood Quirk Skills survivors relatively slowly. Noise is likely to draw zombies. Hostile humans are dangerous in combat, so you can face other communities, not other players, but there are other communities that have humans in them that can decide to be hostile. And damage to survivors can cause lasting injuries or trauma. This is basically just standard stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just skip Dread and go all the way up to Nightmare, and then we'll look at Lethal. So in Nightmare difficulties, zombies are much tougher and deal more damage. Zombies are much more plentiful and aggressive, and that is very, very true. Some hordes are extra large or contain armored zombies. Yes, there are hordes that you'll run into. They'll be marked with an icon on the minimap. They'll be like up from anywhere from 10 up to like 20 to 30 on higher difficulties, even more on Lethal. And armored zombies are zombies that are like military or police zombies that have helmets and everything, so you can't just shoot them in the head to kill them. You have to either shoot them enough to take their helmet off, or you have to just melee them, insta-kill melee them, and there is that. The armored zombies also take less damage from fire. So yes, zombie sieges at your base pose a dire threat. Freaks are much more plentiful and can travel in groups, so you can run into 2 juggernauts, which are the big guys that are very tough to kill, have a lot of health, or you can run into like you'll usually run into 2 screamers together, which what they say, they scream up into the air. Also bloaters, screamers, and juggernauts now have blood plague. So bloaters are these waddling guys that will show up around. If you hit one, they release a cloud. On standard difficulty, it's just a normal cloud. On higher difficulties, it's blood plague cloud, which means you get a gauge filled with the blood plague, and then you have blood plague, and then you have the timer, which you have to go take care of. Screamers are what their names are. They scream, attract a bunch of zombies to the area. They also, when they scream, spawn in zombies if there's not that many around. So zombies can just spawn with the screamer screaming. And they also spit out blood plague when you are near them, because they have no arms to attack you with. Juggernauts are big big giga tanks. Basically, you have to hit them in the head to kill them in an efficient manner, and things like that. And then when they have blood plague, when they do their big old slam onto the ground, it leaves a puddle of it right where they slammed. So you do have to be aware of that. Plague arcs are much harder to destroy. Yes, they are. They do take a little bit more than your other difficulties to kill. Freaks, let's see. Blood plague kills survivors very quickly. I think it's a 5-minute timer on normal. I mean, not normal. Nightmare difficulty. It goes down to like 2 minutes, I think, on lethal. Combat actions cost much more stamina. Combat noise is more likely to draw zombies. Hostile humans are tougher and very deadly, and vehicles are much less durable. Once you get to this difficulty, the humans will pretty much almost insta-kill you if they get a headshot on you, depending on their weapon. If you're lucky, they'll just have melee, but if they have guns, you're just gonna have to get very lucky to survive them hitting you in the head at that point, unless you have a lot of health. Don't initiate combat with hostile humans unless you have good health and defenses. Then let's just go ahead and go down to the Nightmare Community difficulty. So this is where things are... Let's go back to standard on this stuff so we can show you the deal. So each survivor consumes 1 unit of food per day on standard. Survivors with low morale can start fight or waste resources. Facility costs and output costs are fair. Vehicles spawn in good condition. The map difficulty, resources are plentiful. Each rucksack holds 3 to 6 units of that resource. Gear and vehicles, weapons are plentiful. Consumables and crafting ingredients are plentiful. Many vehicles can be found on the map. Blood plague, each map contains 10 plague hearts. Kill plague zombies, occasionally drop plague samples. So let's go up to nightmare difficulty on all of it, and we'll take a quick peek here. Skills and standing improve at a slower rate, which is good, and I'll go over why later once we get to talking about lethal difficulty. Each survivor consumes 50% extra food each day, so they consume 1.5 food every day. All survivors have a significant penalty to their morale, so you start off with low morale in this. Influence gained from skills and facilities is greatly reduced, so you gained less of the cash, I guess you could say. Influence and standing rewards are drastically reduced, which is good and bad at the same time, and I'll talk about that later once we talk about lethal difficulty. Base management, facilities, and outpost costs are increased again, so they cost more resources and influence. Food producing outposts produce extra food still. Radio commands cost more influence. Items cost more to craft, and weapons cost more to repair. Then the map difficulty is resources are very limited. Weapons, especially high-end weapons, are very limited. Consumables and crafting ingredients are very limited. Very few vehicles can be found on the map. Nearly all vehicles are found either damaged or destroyed, which means you can't just run up to them, get in one, and drive off. You're going to have to either get it fueled and use a repair kit on it, most likely. Many sites on the map have nothing to scavenge, so a lot of maps will just have blank places that you could go and get something on lower difficulties would just be blank, and they're random what they are too. And blood plague, each map includes 17 to 18 plague hearts. Plague hearts can be found near one another. Killed plague zombies very rarely drop plague samples. The thing about plague samples is that's what you use to make the cures, so that makes it harder to get the cure. Okay, so let's talk about lethal. This is just too much, I feel. Every zombie is a deadly threat, okay? Zombies produce noise relentlessly. They are not lying about this. Unless you have a silencer and use it only on a pistol, you're going to get rushed very quickly by zombies. The best weapon on lethal difficulty is a crossbow, because it's silent at all times. So if you wish to play lethal, get you a crossbow. Don't get you a gun. get you a handgun with a silencer on it as a backup in case something goes really wrong. But your main weapon in this will either be melee or a crossbow. Seriously. Zombie siege at your base are deadly. This is true. You get a zombie siege going on and it's like max level, you're probably saying goodbye to at least 2 or 3 people, depending on how big your plays are. All freaks have blood plague, so this now includes the what do you call them? Can't think of the name of the what is the called? Ferals. That's what they're called. Shit, I don't know why I couldn't remember. Ferals. Ferals are very fast enemies. They have a protection on them where if you have to shoot them multiple times in the head to break the protection to kill them. And now every horde will include one of each plague freak. So there'll be 1 juggernaut, 1 feral, and 1 screamer, and 1 bloater. That's 5 freaks in 1 pack. 4 freaks in 1 pack. Sorry. Plague hearts are absurdly durable. They still, yes, they are, but they still die if you use what I'm going to show you pretty quickly. Destroying plague hearts doesn't kill nearby plague Zeds. So on the lower difficulties, when you kill the plague heart, any plague zombies around will just automatically die. That includes freaks, juggernauts, bloaters, screamers, and now ferals. But in lethal difficulty, they do not die. So you're gonna have to watch yourself because when you damage a plague heart, it spawns zombies around the area to come and help itself. Or if it has some around it, it just alerts them to you. Blood plague kills survivors ridiculously quickly. Yes, you have to carry a blood plague with you at all times. If you contract blood plague, you have, I think, 2 minutes on lethal difficulty. It could be a minute. I don't remember, but I think it's 2 minutes. Combat gunfire drives an insane number of zombies. This is what I was talking about. You better use a crossbow and make sure your weapon is, any weapon you have is silenced. Vehicles fall apart from only minimum damage. This is also true. You brush when you drive, you can open your door to crush into a zombie and it will kill it. It will also damage your vehicle. And if you do that too much, you ain't got a vehicle no more. So that's where the part where you have to just ignore zombies as you drive by. Don't run into anything or your car is just going to just explode in no time. I cannot stress that enough. Your car will just explode in no time. Okay, community difficulties. The skills and standing improve at a drastically slower rate, which is good. Skills, not so much, but standing is good. The reason why is because as you increase your standing in the community, more and more zombies and freaks start spawning. Because the game thinks you are doing very, very well, so they have a kind of system in place where they will spawn more and more zombies in there. They don't spawn more plague hearts. Plague hearts are static, for the number that you have is the number you're going to have on the base. But yeah, that's where it gets to a problem. You have to basically completely ignore certain things at this point. You can't go and just complete all the quests for conclaves, which are the other people in the game. You can't just go and complete them, otherwise you'll raise your standing too fast. You raise your standing too fast, get hero bonuses, and you're just going to be overrun pretty soon. It's just the thing on lethal difficulty. A survivor consumes 100 extra food each day, so they now consume 2 food per day. So you start with 3 people, that's 6 food per day that you're going to have to somehow get rid of. Get them food quickly. All survivor has a massive penalty to your morale. I think you start at like -30, which is depressed. And no matter who you are, you start with -30 morale. Facility and outpost costs are increased yet again, so they're very expensive. Food producing outposts produce even more food. This is kind of to combat a little bit of each survivor consumes 100% extra food each day. They just recently, like 1 or 2 updates ago, I think, added this. So this helps you out, but it's still really excessive. Vehicles have lower fuel efficiency, so you're going to run through fuel a whole lot quicker. Items cost even more parts to craft. Parts are what you use to craft and repair, and they cost even more parts to repair. It's just a grind at this point. Minimal resources can be found, which is true. You will be most likely finding dead places. It's still enough to survive if you're careful, but you're not going to have as much. High-end weapons are almost non-existent. Also true. You're going to be relying on getting stuff from the vendor guy, cash, to get weapons from the packs. That's basically how you're going to get high-end weapons. Crossbows are hard to find. True. I would recommend looking up a map on like the wiki and looking for like tents, where tents, campgrounds, things are, because that's where you're going to find crossbows if you find any. The rare vehicles you find are trashed and need gas, so all vehicles are almost completely destroyed, if not already destroyed, and they all need gas. They're not going to have any gas in any of them. Most houses on the map have nothing to scavenge. There are like places like food places, but there are also places just like a house. And in those is usually where you find like clothing, which you can use to decorate your characters, costumes, you know, and parts mainly, and things like that is what's often in the houses. And that's what you usually go there for. Blood Plague, each map includes 28 to 30 play carts. Grind. You're gonna have to grind. And play carts can be found right next to each other, so you can have a play cart right next to another play cart. So, yes. Lethal, I'm sorry to say, is too much for me personally. If you wish to try it, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But I'm going to say right now, it's very much a grind. It's like a second job. So, that is the difficulties. Like I said, I've played them all. I played all the difficulties. I say Nightmare is the hardest I would ever go. I've completed Nightmare. It was fine. It was a challenge. It was fun. But if I just want a nice, relaxing time, Standard it is. And that's what we're going to play on. We're just going to play on Standard so we can go through with the community and show you everything. Because I can't guarantee you would be seeing everything if I played on Nightmare. I might not win sometimes. So, there are maps. There are mini maps. So, it's a random, of course. You can choose random. But the problem is, this is your first deal, I would not choose that. There is Trumbull Valley. If you want story, even more story on top of Heartland, play Trumbull Valley. A lot of people love it. I don't care for it. It's the quest from the NPCs interrupt you way too much. Unlike the other places don't have just NPCs. They story NPCs. They have NPCs like the conclaves and stuff, and they want you to do things for them, and you get rewards. But on Trumbull Valley, there is story NPCs that also come on top of the conclaves, so it's even more stuff to do at once. I would not choose this as my first one, unless you just want to be immersed in the lore of the game. Provenance Ridge, very nice map. You start out in a Firewatch Fortress, which is up here in the top right corner. If you can see my mouse up here, you'll be starting up here in this corner of the map. The next deal is Rusty Rosie's. I think it's like right around here somewhere. And it's a very nice second base to take. And then you have, of course, the Western Building Supply over here, the fire station down here, and the lumber yard like right in here. It's a nice map. Some people recommend you play this as your first one because there's a lot of, it's basically a camp town. So it's a place where you go hiking, camping, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of camps and everything. So you can get crossbows and everything if you wish to. Very easy on that map. Cascade Hills, one of the first maps of the game, and it's very nice. It shows its age. You start on the Justinino house up here. It's just your basic house. And then you go to the Bridge Fort is the big one. Bridge Fort is down. I can't remember if it's like down here or if it's up here somewhere. But Bridge Fort is like somewhere along here, this area here. And it's a nice secondary base. And then you got your choice. Corner Office is very much a place you can go if you're going to get sieged a lot, because you can control where the zombies come from, so you can keep an eye on them. Container Fort is your big base. It's the biggest and best base probably in the whole game. It's very, very customizable and things like that. That is why a lot of people love Cascade Hills with the Container Fort. Mager Valley is great. We're going to talk about it later because reasons. Drucker County, mountainous, sand everywhere. You're going to have to just drive around on the roads. You can't go cross country. You're going to have to drive around on the roads. So you start off with the Vogel house. It's up here, if I'm not mistaken, like in this section right here where my mouse is. And then you got the bar and grill, the cabin park, the truck stop, Night Family Drive-In, which is over here. Mike's Concrete, which is, I think it's like right in this section, I think. And then the Barricaded Strip Mall, which I think is down here, or no, that's up here. The Strip Mall is up here. Strip Mall, another really good deal, really good base that is pretty customizable, has some extras in it that you may want related to morale and everything. So, and then there's random. Mager Valley. Let's talk about Mager Valley. This is going to be our start deal because I say this is the easiest one to start on. It's pretty easily the best one to start on because you can drive over pretty much everything. There are some, like there is a creek going right down the middle pretty much. If you know the places, you can just drive across it. There are no deep waters you have to worry about. You can drive across any water there is in the game. Just know that there's no deep water. You're not going to fall into the drink and die. That's not a thing in this game. So, yes, there's Clarington House, which we'll start with, which, if I remember correctly, is up in this section here. And then there's County Church, Camp Cook, Mazza Farm, which is one of the best in-game deals in here. If you want to stay in a kind of a smaller base, a rural police station, I think, is up here. And the Squella's Brewing Company, which is the even better than the biggest base, which is Whitney Field, is the best base, I feel, in the game because you can make so much cash money. Influence, basically. You can make so much influence doing various strategies with brewing you can do. And then there's Whitney Field, which I think is like down here somewhere, which is the biggest base in this map. But the reason why I recommend this as your first playthrough is because of how open it is. You can, like I said, you can drive across everything. You can you don't have to go to the bridge. You don't have to go to the road. You can just drive across country and go anywhere you want to, basically. There are some sections where you're going to have to watch yourself, but it's not that much. So we're going to accept. And here we go. Okay, so these are legacies. that you can that you get after you complete the legacy for this person's legacy type. The best one is Builder. It's base wide power and water at any base with no fuel cost or threat. If you choose this one, you can choose two. If you choose this one, you have base wide power and water forever at any base you choose. Trader, you receive 4,000 influence, which is cash, and you get a visit from the friendly trader when you first claim your first base in a map. And they have various rucksacks you can purchase for materials and various materials, gas, ammo, all that stuff. Sheriff, receive a pile of high quality loot, and Warlord, piles of guns, ammo, grenades when you first settle. Not bad, but of course the best ones are the Builder and the Trader. So you can get a big old start and have free power and water, so you don't have to go and get it from the deal. But we're not going to choose any. I'm not going to do any legacy things here, but these are it. We'll go about more legacy stuff when we get closer to in-game, really. So we have 3 slots where we can choose people. So we just push space to recruit if we wish to recruit a legacy person, or you can hit T and get a random people. Now, what you're looking for, you want at least one person with a blank spot on the bottom. This lets you choose a person to have any skill you want once you get a book to teach them that skill, or some way to teach them the skill that you want them to have. You also have to worry about their health, their stamina, which are these 2 up here. You want to know what type of leader they are. So this is a Builder, this is a Sheriff, this is a Trader. And you'll want to know their traits, what skills they have, and things like that. There are very much a bad traits and good traits. This is where I'm going to bring in the wiki. Really quickly, let me turn this off so you can see. This is the wiki. This is got all the information of the game. It's probably not been updated to the update 30 yet, but really update 30 only changed stuff about the legacy stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. It just changed a couple of the legacy buildings you can make with the legacy people when you choose them as your leader. So you don't have to worry about any of that right now. So this is your skills. This is another deal on the wiki. I had all of this laid out so you can see what I think are the most important things to look at and bookmark, so you know what it's got. So this is all of your skills, the core skills, the cardio, the wits, the fighting, the shooting. These are the things everybody starts with. The specializations are random what you get, except for one thing, which I think is marathon. Everybody can choose marathon in the cardio tree, but everything else is random what you get. So if you go to cardio, it says it's a core skill for survivors, improves the survivor's maximum stamina and leads to advanced athletic skills. That is why you need to also, let me bring this back up, to look at their stamina, compare to their cardio, how much cardio they've done, because that might indicate good or bad stamina, base stamina before they're taken to their cardio. So you have to be aware of that when you look and try to make a community. So so as you can see, you get +6 stamina for level 2. This person was level 4, which means they get +12 stamina. If I bring it up, as you can see up in their stamina bar, they have +12 stamina, which means none of their traits make them have less stamina than what their cardio is giving them. But you don't get any extra either. So that's another thing. You know, there's no bonus to stamina or negative to stamina in their traits. Same thing for fighting, if I'm not mistaken, is health. Yes, fighting proves health. So if we go and look at, we have like 2 fighting on 2 of them. So this person has 8 This person has 8. If we go and look at our 2 plus 2 on our wiki, you can see it gives plus 8. So nobody has a negative or a bonus to their health because of their traits. So that all comes together to infect these numbers up here for various things. And then there's traits that do nothing at all. I recommend, this is up to you, but I recommend going to the traits deal of the wiki and just looking at what their traits are. Because they're various things, like a little forgetful. Wits will max 3 levels. Breaks the tension is a provided hero bonus, which is plus 3 morale to your community. Well, to your field. So there are a ton. The traits in this game. You see how long it took me to zoom all the way to the bottom. There are a ton of traits. I recommend just searching out traits, to finding when you get a community person, just go and search out their traits. It's going to help you so much to find out what they do and what their provided hero bonus may be, which could be different depending on the other trait they get. Let's talk about hero bonus real quick. So hero bonus is something you have to level, and they are community-wide benefits provided by your community members. So as you saw on the trait deal, this a little forgetful hero bonus is plus 3 morale. Everybody gets plus 3 morale in the community. As you see, they got breaks the tension, which when people are feeling stressed, all you really need is for someone to say something completely appropriate. That's my job. They give plus 3 morale to your community. So what you do is you use the survivor. You level them up by doing the conclave things. You go do a quest, kill zombies, kill freaks, all that stuff, and that is how you get the go about unlocking your heroes. As you can see, the hero bonus of our survivors is determined by the traits they have. Almost every trait has a hero bonus associated with it, and most hero bonuses can be provided by several different traits. The survivor hero bonus picked immediately upon their generation remains the same throughout their lifetime, even if they reveal a new trait about themselves or gain new ones through using textbooks. They'll retain their hero bonus after establishing a legacy and starting a new community with them. So this is locked in. What their trait is gives you the hero bonus. So always make sure to check your hero bonus if you're looking up their traits. And then you can either just click here, or you can have the hero bonus tab open and look off in here. I'll go over a couple of really good ones real quick. Let's see if I can find. So meditation is, of course, one of the best ones. It provides plus 6 morale to your whole community. If you're playing lethal, this is one of the best things to get in the whole game, is plus 6 morale, because your morale is so low that it's just not worth it. The worst things to get are max storage for a thing. There's no need for max storage at all. You use it so frequently that you're not worried about it. Various other things is like ammo wish list. It gives you plus 1 ammo per day. There's various things like one of the best things, of course, is to plus 1 materials per day. Some kind of materials per day is the best. And then the meds, and then food, things like that. There are also things from like getting max health for everybody, plus 50 experience rates. It's good early, but it falls off really heavily later on. Of course, there are lower tier morales. If you can get plus 5 max carrying capacity, I've never had a problem with this. but it is kind of nice to have on your main person who goes out to loot everything. 50 infection resistance, which is nice, so you'll get a less chance of getting the infection. Blood plague. Fighting experience rate, so they learn the fighting skill quicker. +1 labor is kind of garbage. It just means you have one extra person available to make something in your base. So if you're crafting something, or if you're constructing something, you use labor, and that is what that is. It's not really great. Facility action speed is nice. This is making it where we activate a deal earlier. It doesn't make it run through quicker. So say you have like something called a sniper tower. When you activate a skill on the sniper tower, it activates it lessens your threat to your community, to your base. And what this does is just makes it go quicker, so you can get to that quicker, and then it's active for the same amount of time it was before. 25% healing item efficiency just means they heal better. Driver training is fuel efficiency, which is kind of nice, especially on the higher difficulty levels. Fuel storage, no need. Emergency supplies, so you can get emergency stashes. Standing rewards, good on lower difficulties. Do not use anybody who has standing rewards on higher difficulties. That just makes you acquire things to get hero bonuses quicker, which you do not want to do in lethal difficulty. 15% radio cooldowns. I think they put a cap on this now of like 45% or 50% is the max you can get on radio cooldowns now. I'm not sure, but I know there's a cap now of how much you can lower any radio cooldown by. So if you go to like 50%, I think it's the max, and lower it by. After that point, it just becomes such a bad return. 15 influence gained is good. That gives you more money, basically. Labor, morale, action speed. Max stamina is nice. Infection resistance, that's 100 faction resistance. So that helps out. Offers inspiration. I think that's morale right there. Max stamina, experience rate, max stamina. Don't be fooled. Experience rate also affects your hero bonus gain rate, so that's bad on higher difficulties. With minus 10% durability loss for shotguns. I've never had a problem with this, but it might be worth having somebody. Meal plan is great. That especially on higher difficulties, if you have at least one person with meal plan, that's minus 25% food consumed overall. You can get this up to 100%, but that doesn't mean they don't consume any food. They always consume at least one food per day, if I remember correctly. We've already talked about meditation, the best morale boost you can get. Max med storage, no. Medical reference is nice, especially early on, so you can have meds every day. You don't have to worry about that. Max health. Encouragement, I think, is like fatigue removement. I think it's that. Injury severity is okay. Here's one food per day. Here, 2 beds. One of the best things to get. That way you don't have to waste an outpost on a bed deal, so you can save an outpost for something more important like food or meds or something. +1 labor, max carrying capacity, morale, stamina. There's light carrying capacity. There is max carrying capacity and light carrying capacity. Light carrying capacity is when you're running light, your character moves quicker especially with certain core skills of cardio. One of the core skills of cardio, I can't remember which one, that helps you move quicker if you have like light carrying capacity. If you're in that light area, if you go above it, you like lose a little bit of speed or something. -1 zombie threat is nice. That's going to change a lot later in a different update, so I wouldn't worry about that unless you're on higher difficulties. 25% parts salvage from weapons is great. That'll be a great thing to get. Max ammo storage, another parts salvage from weapons. Labor, food storage, 50 experience rate. Durability loss per hit. I think this is just affects this just affects melee, not guns. The other ones affects guns. Fatigue severity, so you can get so you don't get as much. Silence policy is a big zombie threat deal. Standing rewards, fuel per day, so if you want fuel per day. Morale, wits experience gain. Morale, rooftop recon, that's where you can get an overview of the area you're in. Health, morale, influence gained. Salvaged vehicles, so you can get a vehicle delivery. Rooftop recon, same thing as before. Max health, encouragement, and labor. And then here's all the red talon things, which are really, really good, but red talon people have very, very big downsides to them that I've never seen the need for the character myself personally. But some people like them. Okay, let's talk about Quirk Skills. Now, this is 5th skills that you can only learn from a book. These are or have already put on them. They are various things that can replace a standard 5th skill. Let me see if I can see skills. So here's community skills. These are all the community skills, the regular skills you can get that anybody can learn. Chemistry, computers, cooking, craftsmanship, guarding, mechanics, medicine, and utilities. They do various things. And they combine together actually to make possible certain building constructions things later on. So like herbalism plus pharmacology equals you can make like food med plant things. We'll get into later on. So like they're just knowledge of things. Level 7 gives you +1 meds per day as long as you have herbalism at level 7. So there's various things you can get. This is Heartland stuff right there. But yes, so the high level things give you various things also, so do be aware of that. Medicine has pathology or surgery as a choice. You can only choose one of these. So surgery at level 7 gives you +20 max health to the community. Offers medical advice, which means you can heal out in the field. And then just knowledge of medicine, knowledge of surgery is just their knowledge of it. Doesn't really do anything, it just tells you that they have it. And then we have pathology, which extracts plant samples more often. Best thing to get in lethal difficulty. Offers medical advice via the radio, just like the surgery. But then the level 7 gives you 50 infection resistance. Extracts plant samples more often, and medical advice. So yes, there are, like I said, the various things. I would say the things to start with, you want at least one person with an empty 5th skill so they can learn anything you want. And then you have a choice on these other people of which one you want. I personally would go with mechanics. You learn auto mechanics, which makes it easier to craft car repair kits and things like that. And then medicine for the pathology is plague samples just drop like crazy. so you don't have to worry about that. If you're on lower difficulty, pathology is not a thing you really need, but it does go with other things that are good. Pharmacology is good, munitions is good. That unlocks things like if you have munitions and I think either electronics or programming, you unlock the ability to make C4, which is also a decent choice of killing plague hearts with. Cooking is good. It gives you various things. You can get snacks and things. You can make the best. I can't remember. I think it's nutrition that lets you make the best. Stamina drink you can get. Once you get that, you don't have to worry about stamina again. But there's various things that are good for various items and stuff. So we'll be going over what we get in a little bit. Let's see. Here we go. Back to the Quirk Skills. These are the special ones. They're not normal community skills that you can start with. These are usually people already have them, or you can learn them from a book. Like acting gives you 100 standing rewards and 10% influence gained, and then pop culture knowledge. And then animal facts gives you no useful effects. So some of them are good, some of them are not. So you just have to kind of watch it and look and as if you wish it. Bartending is good. Gives you +2 morale with the community. And then it gives you also knowledge of cooking. So if you don't have a cook and you don't want a higher level cook, you can just get this, and this person knows cooking and knowledge of alcohol beverages, which means they can use things like a steel and stuff like that. Business for influence and stuff like that. Comedy, design, driving gives you 100% fuel efficiency, 50 vehicle endurance, 50% vehicle stealth, so you don't get hurt as much. Fishing gives you +2 food per day. Hygiene is a great one. Gives you infection resistance for your community and 10 max health for your community. Lenchality is an amazing thing. Gives you both gardening and herbalism and +2 meds per day. You'll to do the big influence deal, you'll want probably at least one of these people. So you'll want to get the book. As you can see, it's got an asterisk next to it. That means you can learn it from a book. Knowledge of arts, making coffee, movie trivia, music, painting, people skills, pinball, poker face, political science, recycling is good. It gives you +2 materials per day, +25 parts per day. If you're struggling, you can use recycling. Scrum certification is build action speed, facility action speed, and +2 labor. Nice early on, but later on it doesn't really do anything. Sewing gives you 1 max item stack. So say like the med kits can only stack up to like maybe 2, I think, and now they can stack up to 3. In community health and knowledge of craftsmanship. Shopping for search speed, parts per day. Sleep psychology is a big one. It gives you +4 morale, +2 beds. This is a amazing thing. You want at least one person most likely with that, especially on the higher difficulty. Soundproofing gives you -4 zombie threat. It can be learned from a book. You know, there's various quirky skills. It ties into the regular skills. It's just called something different. And you can't make them go up. Like, you get knowledge of cooking, but you can't get like cuisine or nutrition. So anything that unlocks with you need to have nutrition or cuisine to make or use that facility. These don't do that unless it specifically says it has that. So here is our map. This is our map we're going to be using here. It's a very nice map. This is the map layout here. Various things here if you wish. Look at is it a history of it, the current conditions, where locations it has. So things like the various deals here. 7 home sites. Shows you about and you can go and look at the various bases and things like that. This is a list of all vehicles in the game here and what they upgrade to. I need to give you a caution. If you find a survey car, congratulations, you found one of the best cars in the game. Don't upgrade it because it loses its purpose. So what survey cars do, special version of the Brogan Rascallion with a 360-degree camera on its roof, which is essentially a working attachment. While being stationary or driving the car at low speeds, it will actually reveal locations and threats nearby, just like the surveying skill does. The whole process is automatic, and its reveal range can reach up to 150 meters. The faster you go, the smaller the effective range becomes. If you upgrade this car, it loses this special function. So if you find a survey car, especially on higher difficulties, don't upgrade it. Because yeah, you don't want to lose this little special function there. But there's a lot of different cars and everything. Some of them are special, like if I remember right, the Z Buster is a special thing you can get that you can only get it through like radio, like the Wizard Van and the Z Buster I think come from the radio, which DLC content cars, if I'm not mistaken. But you can get things like them, kind of, in-game already. Let's talk about the various leader types. So there is Builder, Sheriff, Trader, and Warlord. Builders, and everybody unlocks various things. There's a leader project, which is something you have to complete once you choose them as a leader. So they'll ask you to do this. If you want to complete the legacy, you have to build the sniper tower. Their large facility is a luxury barracks +2, which gives you 5 beds and plus morale. A small facility is the generator, which costs half fuel and gives you no noise, which depends on the difficulty you play, is how much fuel it. Sheriff, their project is the field hospital, which is basically just upgrades, basically Infirmary 3 on steroids. Lounge 3 produces all XP rates. Kind of misleading on what that does. Basically what this does is it teaches you skills. Once you install the Lounge 3, you can have you can have a training film is an option you can choose, and it trains all skills, all the base skills, cardio, wits, shooting, and fighting. And they can also make the shooting range 2, which is an upgrade of the regular shooting range, for training shooting or wits. Trader is the trade depot, which summons traders. This gives you a great deal of freedom to purchase whatever materials you want, rucksacks and things, food, meds, ammo. You can just do it. They have recently nerfed this. It used to be there was a 30-minute cooldown on the various traders, which means you could summon them, if I'm not mistaken, 3 times per day, in-game day, because an in-game day lasts 90 minutes. So you could summon them 3 times per day. Now it's a 45-minute cooldown, which means unless you get the cooldown back down to 30 minutes, which you can with a lot of heavy investment, you can get close to it. I don't think you can get to 30, but it's at 45. So you can summon 2 of them per day now. Which you can summon them twice per day. You can summon all of them, but you can only summon them twice per day. Large facility, farm 3 is +4 foods per day. And then a small facility is steel 2, make luxury items. Warlords gives you an armory, which makes any ammo without having to have an ammo press for it. Large facility, Spartan Barracks 2, gives you 8 beds, but costs you morale. And their small facility is a fighting gym 2, which upgrades the fighting gym to train either fighting or cardio. And that is things right there. So yes, those are the various leader types. I recommend doing builder first because that gives you, of course, the builder legacy, which gives you the free power and water for every base, depending on the difficulty you're on. If you do it at lethal difficulty, you can use the legacy boon on any difficulty. If you do it at standard difficulty, like we're going to do, you can only use that legacy on standard or lower difficulties. It's on the difficulty you complete the legacy on, minus, and back. So Nightmare will let you use it on green, standard, dread, and Nightmare. Standard will let you only use it on green and standard difficulty. And then this is something I recommend looking up once you get to this point in the game. This tells you all about the legacy missions, what they do, what the quest is, and all things like that. So you know where to go. It's a very involved series of quests and things. If you don't want to be spoiled, you can skip it, but I would recommend looking at it. And then I'm going to talk about mods here. So mods are a very big part of State of Decay 2. You can do various things, as you can see. The biggest thing is the community editor, where you can make the exact community you want when you want it. Three of my favorite characters, if you looked at them, you notice they all were there. There's no way I could just roll those characters, so they were community edited. I made them, I named them, and they were my community. So, and I named the community too. You can do that. So yes, very, very much recommended. Not updated yet. They just released update 30 today. Give it a while until it updates. It could be a while for it to update because there's so many changes to the game. So it might be a while before it's updated. It says update available, but it's update available since the last time I downloaded it. State of Decay 2 mod manager. If you're going to use mods, you'll want the State of Decay 2 mod manager. It lets you install them so you don't. It's pretty much don't have to worry about conflicts and everything for various things. The only other one I would recommend right off is the Hades mod menu. It's a cheaty thing. I'm not gonna lie. It's very cheaty, but it's a lot of fun. So you can just have infinite health, have infinite stamina, all that stuff. You know, if you wish to get your community all the stuff they want, you know, no problem. It's a spawning cheaty thing, but it's a lot of fun when you're just there to have fun. If you wish to do higher difficulty things, there are mods for that. Let me click this so I can go to the bigger thing here. Go to endorsement. It's gonna take it a minute to load up here. This I just have over here. This is my spreadsheet I had for when I was doing things, so I know make sure I pick up all of this stuff and put it into my characters before I do a legacy deal, so I don't lose it, you know. So let's see, where is trying to figure out where the thing is. It's a mod called Dark Side, if I remember correctly. It just makes the game a whole lot harder. Surprised it's so low. Usually it's pretty high up there in deals. There's also like a Walking of the Dead mod. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Is it even on here anymore? It may not be on here anymore. I don't know why Nexus is taking so long. I'm gonna move it here. Let's get back to the game though. Yeah, it's just taking so long. Let's there it is. Finally up. These two is what I was talking about. Dark Side Redux and Dark Side of the Walking Dead. These are very much a harder difficulty than lethal deal if you wish to play that way. So let's go on back to using survivors here. Let's see, gardening. High level gardening. Interesting. Make coffee. Chemistry. Driving, which means they get less gas use and everything, so it's not a bad thing to start with, but I wouldn't. Utilities can be either electrical or plumbing. So there's that. Chemistry, cooking, law, utilities, cooking. Here we go, a mechanic. I don't know. No, we're gonna continue rolling. Animal facts. Something that does nothing for you. Computers has a pain disorder too, so that's something bad there. Medicine would be nice. Let's check the traits. So let me bring this up so you can see with me while I traits. So let's see. Hospice nurse. Hospice nurse gives them the medicine and can have them as words of comfort. Good deal. Words of comfort offers encouragement. So not the greatest medicine thing. That's not what I at all. And let's go with lived among celebrities. That gives us plus 25% standing rewards and sincere praise, which is another 25% standing reward. So when you use her and she has her hero bonus, if she has that hero bonus, because it could be either from the hospice nurse or lived among celebrities, she would get plus 50% standing rewards when she does quests as rough. And gives us plus 20 max stamina, plus 10 max health, and her other skill could be personal strength, which gives plus 5 max stamina to the whole community. Not bad, but not what we're really looking for in a medicine. Ah. Now that's not good. No, that's good. Hold on. So Immortal. We just rolled Immortal, which is 40% injury severity, 45 max health. But if you take a look at this person, they only have 104 health. So they got something somewhere that messes with their health. Go to Bolt. Junkie. Huh. I'm not sure why this person does not have like 145 health, but they don't. They should with Immortal, because it gives you that. I'm not sure why they don't have like 145 health. They should. Ooh. Loves the outdoors. Mountain. Or a bonus. Okay. Ready for anything gives you +3 morale break. Okay. Now this can take a while. Sewing's not. The Quirk Skills. Sewing. Get this one. In that health for craftsman. So that's not bad. Not a bad one. There's a cashew. This would give us +1 labor for get mending, which is +5 max health for the. I'm gonna pass. This will take a while. This takes a while. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this and we'll come back once I found some people, because this is gonna take a while. Hi. So I would love to, you know, like put at least one of these people back into a legacy community already. I'm gonna change this one here, but never been sick is 100% infection resistance and a chance to give 100% infection resistance for the hero bonus. And then Psychiatrist gives you medicine with medical inventory, which is max med storage, which is so if you got that one, that would be bad. The problem is I don't need a medicine person because I have I was able to roll lynchology. So that's completely not needed because this gives us herbalism and gardening, if I'm not mistaken. Lynchology gives us knowledge of gardening and herbalism, which does med things. And then sleep psychology gives us the +4 morale, +2 beds. So I'm definitely going to be rolling with these two. I was surprised to get these. If you get either one of these with no bad penalty, I would definitely use these two types of people. The lynchologist just make sure they have lyncinology and a good and a morale and a hero bonus that's decent. High pain threshold gives us extra health. Philosophy major, sleeper surger, highly responsible. This is all good things here. So I wish to put this person right here back into the legacy right now, but because it's a very nice person, Ryan Reyes, but I can't use it. And I need a non-using 5th skill. I would actually love for them to be a trader. That's what I'm really looking for. Trader with cooking. Work with gardening. Fast food. Relax with boundaries is bad. Roadkill cook. Determined. No. Computer. Local computer expert. Self-assistant. I don't know. Can handle -60 more without frustration. Start with their hero bonus if they get it, gives it back, so you would actually be at just have can handle -60 morale without frustrations. That's Don't want to cook her in. Another chemistry. Ecology. Which ecology. Lets us craft strong painkillers. Get a pump. Of course, munition. Thermite grenade or charge if we also have knowledge of a. So that would be up her skills. Give me a second to pursue things. Alright. So some things have changed. I've gone back to just looking at these because the other things are like advanced stuff to do. It would have been really great to start with that, and I would have been like pretty quickly rolling in currency with that start. But I decided let's just go back. This is supposed to be a beginner's new player series, and let's start with some. So we have a medic. This is what this person does. Gives us a medic. What they do is they have EMT, which just for them to, you know, gives them the medicine skill and a chance of their hero bonus could be max med storage. Lead, a quiet life. Chance to their hero bonus could be +3 morale. That's all that does. And then we have strong, which gives us their personal strength, which is +5 max stamina as a hero bonus possibility. Cutter here with the mechanics gives us a coupon cutter, which gives us a kill checklist, which is +33 access speed as a hero bonus possibility. And then the auto detail is a morale bonus from the auto shop if we get one, and a cleaning chart, which is a hero bonus of +50%, +50 infection resistance. So there is that. And then our Brian, our person without a 5th skill, is add a paper route. Gives us a chance to have +1 labor as a hero bonus. Into nostalgia. Hero bonus is the chance of getting +4 morale for storytelling. And then a security guard, which is what gives us its bonus to as a +25% shooting ST8 on his hero skill. So not the greatest, but they're all decent. He has a bat, a chef's knife, a 7-slot backpack with 6 pounds, bandage to restore health, bag of snacks to restore stamina, 7-slot backpack, 6 pounds, a rusty screwdriver, and a carpenter's hatchet. And then Haley has a rusty screwdriver, a wooden bat, a 6-slot backpack with 4 pounds, and health and stamina deals. One's a builder, one's a sheriff, one's a trader. So well, at least, and I'll probably get a warlord at some point, maybe, and I'll just go over what each of them in more detail. But this is going to be our starting community. Also, this is the end of this first video. It's been an hour and 30 minutes. I don't want to, you know, not have it be too long for y'all. Let's go back. Let's just stop the video here. Come back next time with the start of our community, and I'll see you then, okay? So come back next time. Remember, you have questions, leave them down in the comments. I will get them. Like if you wish, dislike, doesn't matter to me. Just give me some feedback if you would like the series and everything. I'm trying to do better. Hopefully I do better. So I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.